Okay, everybody. Welcome to the Booze and BJJ podcast. I feel like a little bit of a traitor because I'm not drinking tonight for reasons. Not getting into that right now, but reasons. We got a panel of 5, including myself. We have Jordan, who's been with us before, Kadeem, who's been with us before, Frankie, who's been with us before, and Wole, but we're not really sure who he is. He just kind of follows me around, which is weird. Stop it. Anyways, gentlemen, let's go around and let everybody know what you're drinking if you're drinking. Then we'll start with Jordan.
Well, I am drinking coffee. Yeah,
Good
I already
choice.
had my alcohol earlier, so
Yeah.
I switched over.
Kadeem?
Hi, good night, everyone. I am also not drinking. I actually should be drinking my half gallon of water that I didn't finish yet, but that's what I'll be drinking if I am drinking anything.
We're kind of failing at the booze thing already.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's right. Frankie, what you got?
Whiskey and
What
Coke. It's
What
called,
kind
it's called Cobb whiskey.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh,
that.
sorry. Hold on. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, that's the wrong one. That was the wrong bottle. I was looking at the wrong bottle.
Whistle Pig? Man, I haven't heard of Whistle Pig in a while.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's really smooth. Good with ice.
What you got, Wole?
I am drinking dihydrogen oxide, otherwise known as water, because I got stuff to do later tonight that requires coordination.
We totally failed at half of the podcast already. No, it's fine. It's fine. We're all adults with
Next time.
Yeah, next time. So before we start, I wanted to say something about Kadeem. So this is kind of a praise thing, but also kind of like a I'm the big dog on the planet still kind of thing. But when I first started training with Kadeem, when he started coming around, he like was super strong and like always tried to overpower me, which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. He's overpowering me. This is fun. And I always gave him advice on what to adjust in order to improve his technique. And during the promotion ceremony at Pentagon MMA, me and him had probably the best 5-minute round that we ever had. And I kid you not, it was like he had completely flipped. He went from being like this super athletic dynamo to like a super technical wizard. And I'm very interested to see how he progresses in his jiu-jitsu journey, because I need a very good adversary when I get old. And it seems like he might be on that track. And he's not 300 pounds and just doesn't crush me and search for a shoulder lock. But anyways, with that being said, Kadeem, you got a strike last weekend, I think it was. It's very well deserved. I'm happy to see how you've progressed.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Even though you do realize that was like the first and second time I've ever submitted you, right?
No, I feel like you said. Well,
nope.
That was you submitted me a bunch. Oh, I feel like you submitted me a bunch of times before that, but I guess
nope. I've tried, but just I'm saying this and pointing this out with the biggest case of love that I could offer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very proud of you. Anyways, without further ado, BJJ at over 35. Now, the reason why I bring up this topic is a lot of the older guys that seem to start always wonder if they can stick with this sport long term. And a lot of times I see them, they'll try, they'll be gung-ho, and then they kind of filter off and disappear, which is normal because I've seen a lot of the younger guys do this as well. But there seems to be something slightly different going on there. And I know with my personal experience, one of the hardest things that I ever had to do with BJJ was not actually the sport itself. It was getting in shape and dealing with the younger athletic guys like Kadeem. So I wanted to get everybody's input on that. And we'll start with Wole, since he also is the other guy over 35 here. So Wole,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean, I think you're right. Part of it, I think, is like fitness. This kind of lack of fitness. I don't think it's like lack of, mental toughness or lack of dedication. I think it's lack of fitness, and like life just gets in the way. When you're older, you tend to have more responsibilities, and you're trying to juggle that with the sport you love. So it's hard, and you have to at some point make a choice, and that's typically, especially if you're in a relationship, if you want that to continue, you pick your significant other, and you kind of drop off for a while, and it's hard to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I dropped off for a while just because it's just, I just was not. I missed like a couple of classes just because, again, life got in the way. And then in my mind, I just kept on saying, all right, I'll go next class, I'll go next class. And then sometimes I was like, oh man, I don't feel fit enough to do this right now. And I ended up being out for maybe close to a year just because that got into my head.
Yeah. Did you ever feel like you physically couldn't keep up with the majority of the younger guys?
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough because, especially, like a place where we train, there the majority of folks there are younger. They're much more athletic. Some of them have wrestling backgrounds and other martial arts backgrounds, so it's tough to keep up. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Jordan, from your perspective, have you seen any kind of difference between the older guys and the younger guys, whether it be like mental, physical?
Yeah. I kind of like, um, I wanted to expand on a couple of things. Like we'll kind of dive down. I have like several different paths to this conversation, but I feel like the older guys learn better. They're more patient. They're willing to ask questions, so they kind of slow things down. I feel like the younger guys, they jump into it, and they get frustrated if they don't see results quickly. I don't know. That's just one of the things I see. But the one of the things I wanted to mention, as far as like making it a routine, I don't know if you're doing specifically over 35 new to jujitsu or just in general. That's a big difference. I forget where it was, where I heard it, but for someone or something to be a part of your life full time forever, it has to be an established routine for so many years. I think it's like 7 years. I don't know if you guys ever heard that. I think if you can make it, it sounds like such a huge milestone. I mean, that's almost a decade right there. It's such a, if you can make it to that point, obviously, you've done it. For me personally, you had mentioned, Wale, like relationships and stuff get in the way a lot of times. I tell every person I've dated, judo's been here before you and will be here after you.
Oh God.
It's a horrible conversation.
Oh God.
Yeah, my wife is awesome about it though. Like she understands. She's a field hockey coach, so when she's in season, she is gone all the time. So it's no big deal for me to be like, hey, I'm stepping out for a few hours and I'm going to jujitsu. Like this is my routine. And she's super supportive. She's cool about it. I want to do competitions. She's like, cool. When do we go or where are we going? So it is.
Did you break that to them on the first date?
Not really, but I mean, it's one of those things where I mean, I explain
Yeah.
to people, obviously, it's like, hey, this is what I do. Like, it's a big part of my life.
Mhm.
I think at first, a lot of people see it as a trivial piece of knowledge. It's like, oh, that's cool. You do jujitsu. So, do you want to go do this, this, and this weekend? I'm like, I don't think you understand. I just got done telling you, like, I do
Yeah.
this on Saturday morning. it's such a huge part of the routine. It dictates almost everything you do. So it is hard to, especially after 35, to get up and be like, I just worked at a job. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure once your career kind of gets in the way and breaks you down a little bit, if you have kids and stuff, that gets in the way as well. But yeah, I would just try to incorporate the kids into it. That's what my dad did with all of us. So
Yeah, definitely. I sometimes like I've always had to force myself to go because I felt like if I broke the routine, it would be easier to do that constantly. Oh, I had a stressful day at work, but I felt and I knew myself well enough to know that that one day that I've had a stressful time, if I broke the routine and then just decided, oh, I'll go the next time, that next time there's a high chance that will turn into next time, which will turn into next time, etc.
Yeah.
So like, unless I have a migraine or a health issue, or if somebody in my family's not feeling well, I'm going.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you make a good point. You gotta be with someone. Like you're saying, it was there before you started, and it's there after. In my case, it was there after I got married, so I can't really make that case. But like being with somebody who is supportive is really important. Like my wife, she has her own thing, and I do jujitsu, and we're like, okay, this is our schedule. Let's split it down the middle. You get your time to do that, and I get my time to do this. It's not like she's like complaining every time I'm going out the door to jiu-jitsu or anything like that. Yeah, so that's like a really important thing. Yeah, even if you're younger than 35, and you're in a relationship, finding someone who's supportive of what you do is important.
yeah.
So
So
I could second that for sure.
yeah.
And clearly the two guys that are married, they found their keepers, right?
Exactly.
So they married those girls real quick, man.
Only took about a year. Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes. So Kadeem, on this main topic, I was wondering for you, have you seen a difference in rolling with the older guys versus the younger guys closer to your age?
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. I think really and truly, I think I mentioned this on the first time I was on the podcast, but it goes down to why you joined, right? Why are you training? And I feel like for the younger guys, everybody wants to be a part of UFC, or they want to be the badass on the mat. And I think for the older gentlemen or older ladies, or whoever, they tend to maybe have that mindset, but tend to go about it a little bit more efficient and I guess intelligent. They try to like really understand the concepts and try to make sure they get the basics down before they attack. So I think that would probably be the only thing that I see, because for the most part, I feel like even the older guys still roll. They give you a hard time, and I don't see a huge difference. They just go about it in a more mature and efficient way, I would say, because they're just as strong, in my opinion, and for the most part, just as fast too.
I would have to counter with one thing.
Sure.
You are definitely physically stronger than me.
Well, I mean, but at the time that I was rolling with you, I mean, you're not a blue belt anymore, but you were a high level blue belt. So I didn't really feel like I was overpowering you. I just felt like that's the only way I'm going to be able to survive in this fight. So again, kind of going back to my point, like you were just more advanced than I was, and I was all my might trying to just do whatever I could, and you were kind of just calm and doing your thing, throwing me all over the place, So that's kind of what I was saying. You're more mature about it. You didn't really kind of match my energy. You just kind of slow me down with technique, and made me realize like you can't overpower everyone. Sometimes it's not about the power, it's about the technique. So
Frankie, what do you think?
I mean, I go based off my own experience. When I was younger, I was like always like, all right, I'm gonna choke everybody out, big old, beastie guy. And I'm gonna choke everybody out. And if they get me on an arm bar or some of that, just break my arm, I don't give a shit, But now it's like, now that I'm older, it's like, okay, let me work on some techniques. Let me work on paying attention, slowing things down, take my time and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think like Kadeem's point, it's kind of a mindset. I think when
Yeah.
you're younger, you feel invincible. You know, like
Mhm.
I can do this, I can do this. I'm gonna just go in there and just go, all out. But when you get older, it's like, dude, I don't want to break my arm. I
Right.
got work tomorrow. I don't
Right.
want to injure myself or anything like that. I think older guys, and I mean, some younger guys have the same mentality. I think older folks go about it in a way where, what's the most efficient way I can go about this
Mhm.
for the maximum gain? So, for example, Sugi was like saying, Sugi's going to, I think he's going to Worlds, or
yeah.
he said, yeah. And I was telling him, oh man, I'd love to do that. And for myself, I know that's something I can do. And if that's something that I really want to do, I'm going to, plan it out over, a year, 2 years. So however long I gotta have like a set plan, and I'm gonna do this, and this, as opposed to just be like, all right, I'm going tomorrow,
Mhm.
That's not my mindset. I know that it takes a lot of time and patience, but when you're younger, you know, you don't really see, you have a different perspective on time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. On that note, watching Sugi train for Worlds is actually very interesting. Like when he's at Dala, it's very focused. Like he picks who he wants to roll with, and you can, as you watch him, you can tell that he's focusing on specific techniques to do.
Mm.
And like I'd never seen anybody train that deliberately before. But like usually with the younger guys, when at Pentagon, when we're training for a competition, everybody's trying all sorts of things and kind of like sitting at a buffet where they're like picking out different things to do. And with the way that Sugi's training for Worlds, it's like he's like deliberately going to a buffet table and picking out like 2 or 3 things and then focusing on that. And
Yeah, I
I found,
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like he has a game plan,
Right.
and
That's what I
if
was
you
gonna say
look at,
too.
like if you look at the younger guys or the younger folks who are going to their first, second, or third competition, they don't really have a game plan, I don't think, or they may have a game plan, but they freak out in the middle of it. I'm saying that from when I was younger, also same thing. And I think when you get older, you start thinking about it a lot more deliberately, about like, what am I going to do in this situation? How am I going to get out? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, definitely agree with the game plan thing. Sugi actually, I think I talked to you guys last time. He helped me kind of create a game plan for. I did a judo tournament years ago, and it was one of like, I'm not gonna lie, I knew I probably wasn't gonna win. It was a higher level tournament. He kind of sat me down. And he's like, "All right, just don't really worry about attacking for the first 2 or 3 minutes. Just survive." He said, if you can survive for 2 or 3 minutes, keep moving, keep moving. When you get so many penalties, then attack. And it was an awesome strategy. Like my second or third match, I knew, okay, it's time to kick that strategy into gear because I'm starting to hit the competition now. And I did that. And I remember getting up, running back to the center after going out of bounds. I turn around and the guy's on his knees, like still kind of breathing heavy on, out of bounds. And I'm thinking like, okay, there is a method to this. Like Sugi, he does have a game plan. And kind of to expand on that, because I did roll with him about 3 weeks ago, Tom. He
Mhm.
was very methodical, like you said. I get the same way because why try something new? You're not going to put it into your game.
Right.
You got to fail at a technique 1,000 times before you actually hit it correctly once or twice, and then even then it's still not perfect. There's a lot of fine tuning you got to do. You got to hit it from different scenarios, different body types, whatever. So I know for me, I'm comfortable standing. and I'm comfortable being on top, I'm not going to pull guard. So why would I sit down? Why would I even put myself at like De La Hiva or whatever the case is? Now, obviously, like plans screw up, so I might have to fight from there, but I don't want to get comfortable sitting on my butt with someone. I want to be on top, putting pressure on them. So when I roll in my head, it's like, I will not, I will not be on my back. I will not, give up
Yeah.
points. I will be on top. And, it's just one of those things where I want to wear him down. And if I can get the takedown, I'm just going to sit side control, hold him there for 2 or 3 minutes until he's tired and then start working my submissions. That's sort of my thing.
Yeah, I guess everyone also, I think everyone either likes to either play top or bottom. Like, that's a good point. Like for me, I prefer pressure. And that's kind of what I use to slow younger folks down. Is just like a lot of pressure. And I'm not comfortable on the bottom. I hate it,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
On that note, would you guys say that a lot of the older guys like to play top versus playing guard? Like, has anybody observed a difference?
I have on some of the guys at Chantilly. The older guys would like to be on bottom because they like pulling guard and whatnot, and then taking that sweep and being on top of the showing, hey, I'm Mr. Big Dog,
Mhm.
like
Base more.
yeah. But Master Sugi now, since I think he noticed that I don't like being on bottom. This was a while back, and he goes, "You're for the whole night. You're on bottom." I'm like, son of a gun. I guess he's trying to break that habit.
Yeah.
When you have a 280-pound Mongolian on top of you,
Yeah. Hey, go work out. I do. I mean, going back to what you were saying, Tom, I think I do start. Yeah, I think I do notice a lot of older guys maybe being on the ground first, only because I feel like if they have good grips, like I'm thinking about Shane right now, but if they have good grips, they can kind of just wear you down. Like you're gonna be trying to break grips and maybe try to put pressure, and if you're not doing the right technique, you're just going to be worn out by your own like efforts. And I think then, like what Frankie was saying, then they go for the sweep and then they're on top and then it's over. I think that's like my experience. Like you try your best and then.
But it all comes back down to strategy,
Yeah, what is strategy?
Yeah.
And I think in every like high level sport or whatnot, you gotta have a little bit of a strategy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, Tom. You're here. Hold on, let me close that door. It's a bird.
Oh,
I'm good.
I thought somebody was.
I think you also have to.
Go ahead,
What?
Wole. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think you also have to know yourself, and you have to be comfortable with the fact that you either want to play top or you want to play guard. Yeah, it's like, for example, I'm not there yet, but I really want to up my stand-up game. So I that's why I want to take judo and do all the. I just don't want to pull guard. I want to actually, do some actual takedowns and not just double leg and single leg. I want actual judo takedowns. I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards it. But again, I think you need to know yourself and be comfortable with the fact that you're, if you're going to play top, you have to be comfortable with the fact that you may never play guard.
Yeah. So one thing that Kadeem pointed out was Shane, who's been on here with us before, and we all know Shane. He will grab your lapel and stiff arm you, and will let you try to fight out of it. And a lot of people think he's stalling, but he's actually just wearing you out. And I do the same thing. And the interesting thing is, none of the younger guys have picked up on it yet. And like, I don't see them doing it, but me and Shane are sitting there. Well, when we're both in class, we'll just sit there and just stiff arm them, let them squirm until they make a mistake, and then we'll capitalize on it. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to point out.
And that goes back to the whole conserving your energy. When you're older, you're into conserving your energy. When you're younger, you have all that energy to burn, and so you can sit there all day trying to break grips and trying to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think about it. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go ahead, Kadeem.
No, I was just gonna say that as we're talking about this, you have me thinking about like what's my game. Like I'm really trying to put it together. I think that's what blue belt blues are for, you know, like you gotta
Yeah.
figure out where you're
Yeah.
gonna go and what you're gonna do. Cause I often find myself pulling guard or being on the bottom, but I do want to practice like pressure, you know, because my thing with jiu-jitsu, I like the aspect of just knowing how to defend myself on the street. You know, that's the reason why I'm in it. So like doing the takedowns and stuff, I think are important because you're not gonna fight a guy or whoever by sitting on the ground and like say, all right, come at me now,
By
you know,
pulling
like,
guard.
yeah,
Sure.
I don't want that. So, but I was just gonna add that in. I'm still trying to figure out my game, but I always end up on bottom for some reason. So, but anyway, that's all I was gonna say.
I think you already know it to a level, but you haven't like quite connected the
Put it
dots
together.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on
I
the
agree.
butt scooting note, did you guys see the video of the two guys? They just like touched each other and both start sitting down and standing up. Do you guys know what
Yes,
video I'm talking about?
yes, I know exactly the video you're talking about.
I don't think I've seen
I saw something similar to that at Open Mat earlier.
it.
It's like two they're brothers, I think. They just grabbed each other's lapels and sat down and then stood up like twice. I'm sitting there going, no,
Don't do it.
don't do it. But
Decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like blue belt's kind of the time. Yeah, white belt, you're just learning to defend yourself. Blue belt is when you know technique, but you're kind of figuring yourself out. And then purple belt is where you're actually, okay, this is my game plan, this is who I am, and I just hone in these skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Like
What's brown belt?
pre-black belt.
No one.
Yeah, but well, I mean, we have a thing for what's brown belt.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
more
know.
so like
Well-
meshing it together. Like you said, you may know what your game plan is. You probably have like a bunch of different, you know, techniques or submissions to do in whatever guard that you're in. But I think of it like a story, you know, rather than being able to do one submission or two submissions, I think you more so learn reactions, like provoking someone to do certain things. And, you know, you may set up this submission like an arm bar, but you really want to go for something different. That's what I think brown belt is,
Yeah.
like making
Well-
a better story. I don't know.
I think that's a good point. I think blue belt is purple belt is so like with blue belt, you're learning all these different techniques. Purple belt is kind of like where you select the techniques that you want to be good at. And then brown belt is timing. You start working on that timing. Yeah. But I don't know.
The closest
If I ever get there, I'll figure it out.
That sounded better. That sounded better.
Yeah. I mean, the closest person here to brown belt is Jordan. So Jordan, do you have anything to add?
That's true.
I mean, honestly, like it's just one big like chess match. That's what jujitsu is to me, and you can kind of tell like white belts are super basic beginners. Not that I'm a big chess player, but you know, I just feel like you sit down and there's some people that can move and plan 10 moves ahead, and that's what I see like some of these really high level black belts, and I'm like, I didn't even see him setting this move up from way before. And of course, like white belts, you just kind of walk into stupid things and you're like, oh, I just lost my queen. Why did I do that? You know, like it's just one big chess match. And that's what I like. And I don't know, like yeah. And to your point, as far as like game plan and stuff, and kind of tying it back into the 35-year-old, not that I'm 35 yet, but as you guys know, I've been grappling for a long time, and my dad always told me, you better do different techniques, buddy, because when you become an adult, this is going to hurt. Your knees aren't going to be there anymore. Like, this is going to hurt.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of brushed him off. I'm like, whatever, Dad, I can do drop Cianagi all day long. I'll be doing drop when I'm 70. He's like, no, you won't. But good luck with that. Now I do drop CO, and I'm like, I gotta be careful. Like, I gotta plan out when I do drop CO. I got like one a week in me, one a month maybe. Other than that, I'm like, you know, I'm foot sweeps. That, you know, he kept telling me as a kid, he's like, you got to figure out foot sweeps. That, you know, this is what moves are when you're an adult is foot sweeps to a different throw, not drop Seoinage, not those little
Yeah.
snappy younger people throw. He's like, if you want to do this when you're 50, you gotta figure something out. So yeah, he's
Yeah.
yeah.
I was you know, like when we had judo at the gym, you know, we had a couple of classes of just like drop Seoinage. After a couple of them, a couple of practice moves, I was just like, I can't take this anymore. It's, you know, this is gonna, my knees hurt the next day, next couple of days actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a common issue with a lot of the older guys is their knees.
Mhm.
Yeah. So after 9 years of judo, 10 years of breakdancing, and 5 years of jujitsu, my knees are my weak point.
Mm.
So
Good to know.
say again.
Good to know. You
Oh,
need bars
developing a
all day.
Is this not a known thing? No. So
Yeah,
that is
talk-
one. Yeah, that is one thing as you get older that you have to keep mindful of, because if you have good knees, great. If not, you got to be a little bit more careful. Like leg locks, like leg lock classes is not something that I am going to look forward to.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So
And I think even added on to that, in addition to age, is also like what your past experience has been, you know, because I also trained in martial arts prior to jujitsu, and I do have some aches and pains. So now when I think about them, my idea when I'm like thinking about techniques, like we spoke about pressure, is I want to execute some submissions or, you know, get different passes and stuff. But I really try to think about how do I control my opponent so I can like smoothly transition to the next thing. You know, I think for the younger or a lot younger people, they're just saying, as soon as I get maybe one grip, I'm just gonna like move very quickly or like just like run to the next technique, no matter which, you know, what body part is maybe up, down, or whatever. So I try to think about how do I control this person that if I'm not moving as quickly, they still can't get out of it, and I can kind of get into where I need to be. So, and that also prevents some injuries. You know, you don't have arms flailing or, you know, legs up in your face or whatever. So I think about that too. And maybe the older people
Kadeem,
do too.
you got that old man mentality.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, I told you the last podcast, I got a black eye because someone's knee went straight into my face. You know, so
Yeah.
I've had that happen. We were
Was
talking
that
about
me?
that thing.
No, that wasn't you.
Do you think that was a dirty shot, or was that like legal?
No, I think it was just one of those, you know, I was rolling with someone a little bit younger, or like I said, I feel like this guy thinks he's like super good, and I probably just didn't have as much control as I should have. I'll take some ownership on that. And, you know, just,
so
you know, limbs collided.
there is one guy at Pentagon right now that I think has a anger issue. So if it was him, it could have been deliberate.
I think you mentioned that the last time I was on. I don't even know what we were talking about, but I got a picture.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't think it was deliberate, but I also was like, hey man, as I was rolling, like it swelled up immediately. And I was like, yo, man, check this out. And he just looked at me and just like, all right, whatever. I was expecting him to be like, yo, dude, my bad. You know, like, when did that happen? Because that's what I would have done, you know, but whatever.
So
it's part of the sport.
That's one thing that I do like about the older guys that we train with. Like, we're a little bit more careful not to hurt each other.
Yeah.
There's always the silent conversation. Hey, you know, mid move, I heard something crack. Was that you? Yeah, I'm good. Continue. You know.
Yeah, I do that now. It's like, oh wait. I stop and like, oh, you all right? I heard something snapping. Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think that's you know, when I roll with Thomas and Jordan here, like I kind of have to be careful now. It's like, okay, it's not like they're so older and high level, and I'm like, okay, let me take my time here. I don't want to get choked out.
I think Jordan.
I remember when I first rolled with Jordan. I was like, man, I really gotta take it easy. Not even like 5 seconds in, he's choking me out. I'm like, all right, man, all right.
Yeah,
inevitable.
I was just excited to see another purple belt or somebody higher ranked than me, because I think I was a blue belt at the time.
He looks so intimidating too. I was like, I'm scared of this dude.
I look intimidating? What?
To me, you did. To me, dude, I'm like,
No,
I-
I
I
thought I
just
was.
ready to snap my head off.
I think it's the Cobra Kai gi that he wears.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we should find a time when we can all roll. Because like I haven't, I've rolled with you guys. I haven't rolled with you, Frankie, in a while, and I've obviously never rolled with you, Jordan. But I think that would be fun.
Tuesday night. Tuesday night.
Let's set that up. We can set that up. Yeah. So we can set that up and then do like a group picture.
Yeah,
But,
Tuesday. I usually train on Tuesday, so like I'm down for Tuesday evenings. So
yeah.
Are you talking about after Nogi or are you talking about 1
well,
p.m.?
Right, like
what? Hold on. Let's discuss
sorry.
that offline.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
My bad.
I don't want certain individuals to get in
yeah,
trouble.
we got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there's two things that I would like not to be discussed on the live recordings,
Sure.
and that's negativity about specific people by
Yes.
by name,
Yes.
and any kind of scheduling that could get folks in a bad situation,
Understood.
whether that be
Okay.
with significant others or other people,
Mm.
if you catch my drift. So
Something
Hey.
not right about that. I'm gonna throw that out there.
well, some people are like,
Yeah, I mean,
you
Yeah,
didn't invite me. And it's
Yeah.
like, well,
Oh,
That's-
no. Okay, I thought you meant
Yeah.
um
Oh yeah, I
where
get
we're
what.
streaming.
see
Yeah.
what?
I thought you meant like the where.
Oh,
Um,
I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
could,
thought that's what you meant too.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is part of that too, I'm sure, but like you're saying, it's something's not right if that's the situation.
yeah.
But you know that there are places like that, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate, but
that's
Um,
why I try to not go to those sort of places. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah. Oh, Wale, I don't know if you know,
Mhm.
but Jordan is really good at judo. So if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
wanted to do a one-on-one,
I feel really good, and then I roll a sugi and I get the shit kicked out of me. However long I'm not good anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, rolling with Sugi and anybody higher level is always a gut check.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you think, oh, well, I'm king of the hill, and
Yeah.
then you roll with that one person, whether it be Sugi, for me, Jordan, or whoever else, and you're like, oh, I'm not king of the hill. Okay, I've come
Yeah.
back down to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
I will throw this out there, not to plug anything, but I do teach a judo class if you are interested. Just let me
All right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait, did we not point that out? I thought we
I don't
pointed
think
that
so.
out. No.
No, I know you've been doing judo since you were a kid.
well, but I mean, like
but
I'm
also
teaching,
I
I
didn't.
teach at high noon on Wednesday nights. The class starts, judo class starts at 7:30. So
Okay.
I usually go through
Where's High Noon at?
Alexandria.
Hmm.
It's right off of 395.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
like a Marshall's, a Giant right there, KFC in the parking lot, IHOP.
Yeah, funny story. Me and my brother got kicked out of that KFC. It was awesome
How did you get kicked out of the KFC?
because he was being an idiot and they
Oh.
told us to leave.
I was gonna say that's not a neighborhood you should walk around.
Nope.
I drive in, I drive out. That's it. I park in the parking lot. I don't walk around. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways,
Here's a question. Sorry.
sure, go ahead.
Do you think now that you guys are older, has your liquor changed? There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Gotta
You
change it up a little bit.
Wait, are you talking about tolerance or?
Yeah, you know how back in like
Or actual brand?
I guess brand tolerance, whatever. I mean, like
Yeah.
back in like college days, it was all about the
Yeah.
jungle juice or the cheap vodka. Now you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
wanna drink
So
it.
Lad.
yeah. So I tend to drink like more scotches, whiskeys, and bourbons now, and I do it
Rest
neat, or I might have like a small, like a splash of like a mixer in there. But outside of that, I would drink like a dark and stormy or a mojito. Yeah, so it definitely has kind of shrunk. But when I was younger, I was drinking stuff like Red Bull and vodka and yeah, shit like that. Yeah, it's just like stuff that'll mess you up the next day, and just like you go out and you have only but so much to spend, and you just choose the bottom shelf liquor, and the next day it just messes you up.
So I have to admit, I actually don't drink very much, and I really hadn't. In my 20s, since I was dancing a lot, like drinking alcohol would make your stomach hurt. And we were doing a lot of like high intensity moves, and we would do performances. So people would pay to watch us dance on stage at Nation and the HF festival when it was around. Like they had a EDM tent, and we would perform in there. But if we drank a lot of like not even a lot of alcohol, like any little amount of alcohol we get in our system would just make our stomachs hurt. So I didn't really start drinking even just a little bit until like recently. So, but I've been experimenting, and that was part of the reason why I started this podcast, so I can have an excuse to drink. And yeah, I've been stuck with that Panamanian rum for like 3 weeks, which is fine because it's good. But
Tuesday, bring that to me. I want that.
oh yeah, you got it. Because I don't know if I'll be able to ever finish that bottle. But
So
go ahead.
Thomas, I hear a lot about this dancing, but I don't see any videos.
Yeah, come on, man.
That
There
means
were-
it didn't happen.
Actually, I've seen
happened.
him. I can justify. I've seen him in a couple of moves. I'm like, okay, Thomas, all right.
So funny story, there was a bunch on YouTube like of like events that we did and like dance competitions that we were at, and just like when we did performances at the HF festival. But for some reason either the account that had them posted was deleted, or YouTube deleted them or something. But there are some videos on YouTube of me dancing.
How convenient.
They're just very hard to find. Now,
Well,
mind you,
what was your crew? What was your crew's name?
it depends on the crew.
I'm on a mission to find Thomas. Why?
Yeah.
Oh god, this is going to be embarrassing. One of the crews that I danced with, which would be the most recent one, was DWA. Don't ask me what it stands for, please.
You can't do that.
No, it's
When you initially started saying don't, I was like, oh, so don't is the D. And then
No,
you started
it's-
going, I was like, oh, okay.
So the guy who started the crew actually had a heavy background in ballet, and it stands for Dancers with Attitude, if
Yeah.
you guys catch my drift. So that was a
It's a
very
90s copied somebody.
very interesting time in my life. But yeah.
I want to set you up. I'm going to invite you somewhere. It's going to be in an alley with a bunch of cardboard laid out. Old boombox.
So we did more like house dancing more than break dancing after a while. So because
Couldn't tell you
after
the difference.
after about 8 years, our knees started to ache really bad. So we stuck with house dancing is kind of like up rock and breaking, like the more upward dancing styles, instead of like doing a lot of the power moves on the cardboard. If anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah.
So you prefer mats, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Those don't hurt so bad.
And knee pads.
Yes. Knee pads. No, but
Yeah.
anyways, Jordan, you're going to Masters Worlds, it is? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Congrats.
Saturday.
Congrats and all the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
You signed up. It's all good.
What's the process for that? I'm curious. Like, is there like a qualifier? How do you train for it? Like what?
So I haven't there's really no qualifier for Master Worlds. Anyone can kind of go. And as far as training, usually I set a tournament out like 6 months so I mentally prepare. It gives me something to kind of be in shape for. I know if I'm on a mat 4 days a week, I feel good. The other 3, as long as I'm active, I do something. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. This time around, like my wife and I, we got married this year. We bought a house. We had a kid. So it's like all my preparation is just not the same. So I haven't like changed my diet. I'm drinking alcohol. Like I'll drink beer. I had beer earlier today. I've just been eating like shit. Normally it's, I try to at least maintain some sort of not strict diet, but like, I don't eat junk as much. But this time around, I just don't care. Honestly, I think that's a good approach for me. I get tunnel vision sometimes, but I don't compete for a while, and it's been a couple of years. I mean, I competed at like a Fuji or something with one other person, so I don't really count that. But I did a New York Open, I want to say 5 years ago, and I hadn't competed. Walked on the mat, and I could tell I was just tunnel vision. Like my brain's telling me do this, do this, do this. Like, it's firing commands. My body was just slow motion, sluggish. So I think I was just so mentally, I guess I just leading up to it was focused on winning, winning, winning. I'll be honest, some of the tournaments that I just don't care about, don't prep for, don't think about, I walk on the mat and just go. I do the best. And talk about drinking. When I was younger, I didn't stop drinking. Like I would drink, drag myself out of bed and just go to a tournament, whatever it was. I didn't pass up an opportunity to go out. And I did pretty well, even if I had a headache. I usually
That's the Marine talking.
yeah. But no, I mean it's just, I don't know. To me, sometimes if I don't put the tournament on the pedestal, it doesn't really bother me as much. I don't get I don't slow up, I don't freeze, I just move and I do what I got to do. So yeah.
Mental
I
preparation.
think that's it. When you going back to what we were talking about, 35 and younger versus older. I think when you go to competitions and when you roll when you're older, it just is not as important because you have other things in your life going on. Like whenever I started competing when I was, I think, 36 or so. And I was just like, I'm just going to go out there and try and roll, try and do my best. I'm not making a career out of this. So, and those were some of the best competitions I've had. Like, even if I lost, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll try again in a couple of months.
So
Yeah.
my first competition, I had everything planned out how I expected and wanted my matches to go. And it did not go that way at all.
That's why I
And
avoid a plan.
yeah. And the funny thing is, the second match I had was with this tall guy who had like silver hair, like immaculate hair, like just the prettiest jujitsu hair I've ever seen. And he caught me with a standing cross choke, which was kind of embarrassing. And I remember driving to my parents' house, and Sarah had taken pictures of all my matches and recorded everything. And I was showing my dad this guy who caught me with this embarrassing choke, and he had busted my lip open. So I'm showing my dad this guy's picture and I'm cursing about him and saying, yeah, this MFer, blah, 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 busted my lip open, showing my dad my messed up lip. My dad looks at it and he goes, oh, I work with that guy at the Pentagon. He's an officer in the Navy. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I thought he was joking, right? Then I remember the guy's name. He stalked him on Facebook, and I see him in his profile picture in a naval uniform. I'm like, oh no, my dad knows this guy. So didn't think anything of it. A couple months later, I saw him at Grappling Industries again, but I wasn't competing. He was. And I walk over and I was like, hey, how you doing? He goes, oh, you're Tom Allen's son. And I was like, oh, crap. Like, it was true. And he's like, yeah, your dad walked over to me and was like, you beat up my son. And I was like, and he's like, I didn't know what I was talking. I didn't know what he was talking about. And he's like, he had to explain everything to me. And I was like, oh, that guy. So, but it's funny how like how small of a world everything is. Because who would have known that this one random dude that I'm squaring off against at a jiu-jitsu competition works with my dad at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I was also going to add, I mean, just the same conversation with 35 and above, or just maybe I would just put it as more experience. Because as Jordan was talking about his prior tournaments, he also has a huge history of martial arts. I would just say maybe for the 35 and older, they just have more wisdom, more experience. Like, you know what your body's capable of, you know how quickly you can learn, how quickly you can recover from certain things. And I think that works in their best benefit compared to the younger generation where they don't know their body as well. They don't know their capabilities, and therefore they try a lot of things that might get them hurt or might not be as successful. So I think that's something to say.
So yeah, this one observation I've seen, like a lot of the older guys won't do anything like too obviously risky. And a lot, not a lot of the younger guys, but there's been a significant, no, not significant, but there's been more younger guys who will try things that are just wildly unsafe.
Like a flying omoplata or something.
Like a flying omoplata, freaking jumping guard when they're just coming in at an angle where it's like, oh God, that could break.
I saw on YouTube, I saw this kids match, and it starts out, these kids were probably like
kids are crazy.
12, 13. Yeah, and this kid does like a flying armbar and submits the other dude. And it's just like, why are you even allowing that in a kids competition? You fall wrong and you break your neck, and that's the end of it,
Which has happened. I'm pretty sure there's a video on YouTube of someone like breaking their neck trying to flying armbar.
Yeah, I've seen one where someone passes out, and I don't know what happens after that, and just like it's just too risky. It's not worth the it's not worth it. Yeah,
it's not worth the submission.
Yeah,
I mean, they look cool. I mean, you guys see me post them on that group chat. It's like, oh, look at this. This is awesome. And you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
When I was a kid, Tom, I had a goal of hitting a flying armbar because I think it was Mike Swain, an old judo Olympian back in like the 90s. He started this thing. I forget what it was called. It was like, I don't remember. He was trying to start like a new sort of sect of judo, and it wasn't just ippon and win. It was like it was like a scoring whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, he did a demonstration. He hit a flying armbar. I must have been 10, 11 when I saw it for the first time. I'm like, I'm going to learn that and I'm going to do it. And never was successful with it, but I don't know if you guys know the video, Kerry Colette, the wrestler from Pennsylvania, do a backflip out of a single leg and come up and get the takedown. Well, I saw that video and I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I tried it. I tried doing it a few times. Mind you, I've never done a backflip in my life. So I ended up just kind of going over my shoulder in a weird roll, and it worked a few times, but I realized I'm like, I should not be doing this. I reached that point where it was always kind of a thought in my head. I'm like, this is in my arsenal. If this person goes to treetop me with the, single leg, I'm just going to backflip as soon as he stands up and, and do something. And now I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing it.
So one of the Sugi was the main reason why I stuck with jiu-jitsu. Like after about 100-pound weight difference and him just manhandling me, I was like, yes, that's it. The second, like lesser reason was because of Jeff Glover. There is a video of Jeff Glover squaring off against a guy who was significantly taller than him. And Jeff Glover just runs up him like a tree and arm bars him in the air. And after seeing that, I was like, I want to know what both these two small guys know. But the crazy thing is, like, at the time I was like 245 pounds. There's no way I'm climbing up somebody like Jeff Glover. and getting an arm bar in the air. But yeah, there's all sorts of interesting moves out there that you look at it and you're like, oh, that's cool. I'd like to be able to do that. And then you realize, nope, that's not gonna
Not for
happen.
me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Matsugi knows a couple. He just
Oh,
ain't
yeah.
teaching it because it's like,
Yeah.
not working.
That's his secret sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
go ahead.
sorry, as I say, Kadeem and Frankie, y'all have competed yet?
I have not.
The only competition I did was that Muay Thai fight, but
Okay.
I was trying to, but like life got in the way and work, and I was supposed to go to Thursday night, but Matsugi's vehicle blew up on him, and I had to fix it real quick, which is good now. So
Sweet.
that was the message the night before was the funniest thing, man. He goes, dude. He goes, Frankie, the car is making noise, it's scaring me. I'm like, what, it's scaring you? I mean, what kind of noise is it? It's like screaming at me. He's like, it's smoking. And like, I have this image going on in my head. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, this car is on fire. So I call Matsugi. I'm like, is the car on fire? And he goes, no, it's just a lot of smoke. I'm like, oh no. I like, open the hood. And his car just overheated. It was just,
Yeah.
What did you happen to catch what his wife said about him when
yeah.
Yeah.
He was so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. But
Because I can imagine, because he's such a humble guy, and can you imagine something catastrophic happens like that? You're like, oh shit.
yeah, I was envisioning him being like really like chill about like a crazy situation, But gentlemen, I think the tiny ones have woken up in my house, so I think we're gonna have to cut it early. So final thoughts. We'll go with Kadeem first.
Final thoughts is kind of what I was saying in the last couple of minutes, is that the main difference between the older people in the gym and the younger is that I think they know the capabilities and they work with it. So that's what I would say.
All right.
It works in their best benefit.
Wole?
I would say, have a game plan, know your body, and just keep training. It's no matter how old you are or no matter when you started, actually, just like keep training.
All right. Frankie?
Same thing, like keep training, build a strategy, have like an arsenal, have a little bit of the secret sauce too. And just keep training pretty much.
And Jordan?
Kind of to mix it up a little bit, set goals for yourself. It's something big, something achievable. What I try to do is, and it sounds cheesy, but every now and then I'll, every couple of years I'll sit down, I'll write like a 2-year, 5-year goal, put it on paper, and I have it in my desk somewhere. And I set a timeline for it. I'm like, you know what? If this has to be done within 5 years, I better start doing it right now. So Worlds was something that was on my list, and different tournaments were, like I said, New York Open is one. Competed, lost my first year. Second year, I won it. So it was one of those things where I'm like, if you don't have something to look forward to or to work towards, what's going to keep you accountable and what's going to keep you motivated to push yourself? So if you bite the bullet, if you actually commit to doing a tournament, I promise you it's so much easier to go to training. And then you'll start seeing results. And once you see results, it's absolutely addicting. Winning a tournament, placing, whatever the case is, or even losing and just having a great experience is the most addicting feeling in the world. So that's why I do it. Even though I hate the whole build up going to a tournament, the feeling afterwards is unlike anything else, or even just winning a match or fighting your heart out, losing, and just knowing that you stepped up and did a competition. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah. In closing, I will say, no matter what age you are, as long as you step on the mat, you're already beating the person who stayed home.
Yep.
So, gentlemen, thank you. I will
Thank you.
let you all know when this is posted, and I will see you all next time.
Perfect.
Have a good night.
So,
You guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure.